Hi fishy folks, and welcome to Michael's Fish Room. Today's video is going to be my top 5 tips for breeding Bristlenose Plecos. That's right folks, breeding ancistrous Plecos, Michael's Fish Room's top 5 tips. Why don't you go ahead and grab yourself a snack and a beverage, get comfortable, and let's get into the video. Alright folks, whether you're breeding Bristlenose Plecos for profit like I am, where you can sell them on a website like michaelsfishroom.com, or you're breeding Bristlenose Plecos because you want to increase the Pleco community size in your fish room or fish tanks, or you're going to breed them and give them as Christmas or Hanukkah gifts next year, hopefully these 5 tips can help you out. Now I just want to caution you, these are the tips that I use, that I do in my fish room. They should work for you, they're pretty general, but if they don't, you're going to have to try something else. Alright, tip number 5 is space. What do I mean by space? Basically tank size. My favorite tank to breed Bristlenose Plecos in is a 20 long. Although most of my breeding is done in a 20 high, the water volume is the same obviously, but the footprint is different. I like the space to place different caves and give the Plecos their room to do their thing, if you know what I'm talking about. Alright, tip number 4 is wood. Now there's a little misconception here about wood in a Bristlenose Pleco tank. Bristlenose Plecos don't actually eat wood. They eat the microorganisms and the biofilm that's on the wood, and that's what helps with digestion. There are other Plecos that do actually eat wood and need it in their diet, but ancistrous, they do not actually eat the wood. They eat the microorganisms on the wood. So you want to place wood in different places in the tank if you can, or a bigger piece so Plecos can go on either side, and there's enough for them to and get those microorganisms they need. Now the kind of wood doesn't really matter. Any of the common driftwoods work. I even have some cholla wood in some of my tanks. Some people say cholla wood is bad because the Plecos can go in the hole and get stuck. Luckily I've never had that happen to me, but it can happen, I'm assuming. Alright, tip number 3. We want different hiding spots or different caves. Now, I use commercially made caves by Cobalt. I bought some caves from some other people that make specific Pleco caves. But the caves I like the most because of their price and ease to get are those plant watering spikes. I don't know if you can see, actually that light one is a cave from Cobalt. But the commercial watering spikes, I'll put a link in the description below. It'll be an Amazon affiliate link. I've linked it before. I've talked about them all the time. I think you get like 6 for 18 bucks or something, $3 a cave. Just rinse them off. But you want to have different hiding spots for them. Some Plecos like the D-shaped cave. Some Plecos they all like it really tight. But some Plecos like different sizes. So you want to try to provide different sizes until you can find the one that they like the most. Now I've had the most luck with the ceramic caves. I do have one wooden cave that was given to me as a sample. I haven't seen much breeding in that tank, but that could be for any number of reasons. You want to place caves, you don't want to put them all together, because if a Pleco doesn't like that spot, he's not going to go in there. So you could cluster 1 or 2 in a corner, and then 1 or 2 in another corner, and then 1 here and 1 here. That might be best. That's what I do. Now sometimes the Plecos sort of move the caves to where they want, which is kind of weird when that happens, but just give them options. Options are very important when it comes to Pleco caves, both size and location. You always want a closed end. So I know some people use PVC. You're going to want to put a cap on one end. I wouldn't glue it, I would just put it there. Alright folks, tip number 4. Tip number 4 is one of my favorite things in the world, moam. Now, there are people that are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. If crystal clear and clean tanks work for you for breeding Bristlenose Plecos, great. For me, I like the moam. It gives them a place to hide, it gives them a place to eat. I believe it mimics more of their nature, their habitat in nature. Pretty sure if you go to a lake or a pond or any place where Bristlenose Plecos, a stream where Bristlenose Plecos live, it's not pristine. There's probably moam. So I like the moam. I do sometimes have to clean the moam because it does cloud the water. It doesn't dirty the water, it just makes the water cloudy, which makes it harder to see the Bristlenose Plecos and see what's going on. So I like the moam. Moam is essentially uneaten food and fish waste and plant waste that's deteriorating in the tank, and I like it. It's Moam. Moam for life, people. All my tanks have Moam. Moam will also draw snails, which again I don't have a problem with. I don't find snails eat Pleco eggs because of the Moam. So, all right, folks, the number one tip you've all been waiting for. Now, I just want to say, after the number one tip, I'm going to give you a couple of small bonus tips. But the number one tip is food. Most people don't feed their Plecos enough. You want Pleco tummies to be fat and happy, just like me. Well, fat at least. I always overfeed my Plecos twice a day. Once a day, they typically get a commercially based food, such as Northfin kelp wafers, one of my favorite ones, and of course the cobalt shrimp and veggie pellets. I also feed plenty of fresh food like canned green beans. I've done watermelon, you've seen me do. I've done peppers they like, cucumbers they like. Of course, there's different nutrients in all these fruits and vegetables. Zucchini, pumpkin season is here, so you know I'll be buying a pumpkin and throwing it in there for them to eat. But all that stuff, green leafy vegetables, all that stuff is good. Now, Ancestors Plecos are omnivores, so they like meat and vegetables. So make sure whatever food you feed them, if you're looking to breed them, contains both. So if I do green beans one day, I'll definitely do something more meaty the next day. I may drop frozen bloodworms. You'll see them devour them. I may drop just regular sinking fish food that has meat protein in it. But the trick is to overfeed them. Definitely overfeed them. Now, if you overfeed them, you're gonna have to make sure your water parameters stay where they need to be. 0 ammonia, 0 nitrate, low nitrate. So I have an auto water change system for that, but you may have to change water a little bit more frequently. Those are my top 5 tips for breeding Bristlenose Plecos, folks. Let's get into some bonus tips. So we were just talking about water changes. A tip that I've used for angelfish and I've used for Plecos is do a water change, and when you fill the tank, drop the water temperature that you're putting back in by 5 or 8 degrees. That cold water will simulate the rainy season, or rain, and may trigger spawning. Now, Plecos are definitely seasonal spawners, so you may go through a time period where you're not going to get much breeding. It'll come, don't worry. I also find that if there's a storm coming and you do that water change trick at the same time, the lower barometric pressure, boom, definitely triggers Pleco breeding. That's almost like clockwork for me, at least. Another bonus tip is temperature. So I guess the tip really is, for me, temperature doesn't matter so much. Bristlenose Plecos like a little higher temperature, say 80, 81, than my guppy tanks. But all the tanks are the same, and right now it's 72 in the fish room. So the water temperature is probably in the mid 70s, maybe a little lower, and they've been breeding the whole time. So I don't think temperature matters so much. Now, some people say flow also helps. I don't think Bristlenose Plecos need so much flow as some of the other rarer Plecos, but I do notice that if I have a hang-on back filter, that overflow effect may help with spawning a little bit. Not really much for me to say it's a definite, but it may help. So if you have a tank with a sponge filter in it, you know, add a canister or hang-on back or a power head, get a little flow going and see if that helps. It's definitely something that may help, but in my case, I don't think I need it. All right, fishy folks, another bonus tip, if you will, is good stock. If you buy a sick Pleco, it's going to be hard to get it healthy because you're going to have to probably make sinking or Pleco food with the right meds in it. And as far as I know, there isn't much of that on the market. Buy healthy stock. You want to, when you go to the store and look for a Pleco, you want to see a fat belly. You don't want to see a sunken belly. They're probably malnourished, or they could be sick. And if they're young and malnourished, it's possible they're not going to develop to the best of their ability. So fat baby Plecos, fat juvenile Plecos, fat adult Plecos are what you want when you look for breeding stock. Now there are plenty of breeders out there that you can buy Plecos from, but I can tell you all my Plecos have a fat belly because I like fat bellies because I like it matches me. Alright fishy folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below in the comments. And don't forget to check out michaelsfishroom.com. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Have a great day. Hi fishy folks, and happy Thursday to you. Guys, today's video is going to be my top 5 breeding tips for breeding plecos. That's right folks, Michael's Fish Room's top 5 breeding tips for breeding bristlenose plecos. I should have said bristlenose plecos, not just plecos. Yeah, we're going to do this again. Hi fishy folks, and happy Thursday to you. I don't like that. Hi fishy folks, and happy Thursday to you. Hope everyone's having a great day. I know I am so far, but hi fishy folks, and happy Thursday. Today's video is going to be about my top 5 breeding tips for breeding. Hi fishy folks, and happy Thursday to you. Today is going to be a video about my top 5 tips for breeding bristlenose plecos, folks. That's right, breeding bristlenose plecos. I started this project a little more than a year ago, and I have quite a few different color morphs of bristlenose plecos that I've been breeding now and selling on my website, michaelsfishroom.com. Do me a favor, guys, if you haven't done so, I'm so dumb. Hi fishy folks, and happy Thursday to you. Today's video is going to be about my top 5 tips for breeding bristlenose plecos. That's right, Michael's Fish Room's top 5 tips for breeding bristlenose plecos. Before we get started with the video, do me a favor, go ahead and obliterate that subscription button. Gently boop the notification bell and check out michaelsfishroom.com, where you can buy these bristlenose plecos that I breed here in my fish room. You can also buy some guppies there too. Alright, I hope you guys have a snack and a beverage. I think this one might be a decent sized video. Who cares how long it is? I mean, some people might care about length. Not me.